Welcome to another episode of Love Living Local 315. We are your hosts, Scott and Kelly Greats, and today we're excited to have you join the conversation with Rachel Stewart, the owner of the Plant Stand on Genesee Street in Utica. You know, we talk to a lot of small business owners, a lot of entrepreneurs, and, you know, this one really stood out because Rachel is truly passionate about what she does, the community she serves. She went away, she came back, and, you know, really, when it comes to gift giving, I think this is top of the list, right? When you're looking for an idea, when it comes to local collaborations and, you know, just all things Central New York, you're going to get the vibe quickly when you dive into this conversation we had. And I'll promote, I never do this in the intro, but I'll promote her event on Earth Day, which is April 26th from 10 to 4 in the parking lot. There will be all sorts of activities going on. We will be there. I encourage you to join us. Earth Day, April 26th at the Plant Stand. But for now, enjoy this conversation with Rachel. All right, Rachel, you spent a little time out west.
I did.
And then you came back not too long ago. So talk to us about coming back home after being away for a minute.
Yeah, I mean, to be quite honest, I never thought that I would come back. You know, I always had that itch to get out of town, explore, you know. And after a few years out west, I missed the convenience of living here. Everything is so close and there's no traffic, and the food is amazing. More importantly, my family is here, but the food is amazing. Yeah, so I was really ready to start something new, start a business. I had that itch, and I wanted to do it in my hometown and where I grew up. So it was just kind of a no-brainer, and it's really affordable to live here. You know, there are a lot of perks to the area that just made it kind of a no-brainer to come back. And the idea of the plant stand didn't really develop until after I came back, but I knew that I wanted to do something. I've always wanted to do something. So yeah, it just kind of happened naturally.
Awesome.
So you've been in the wellness industry.
Yes, for about 10 years, yeah.
So talk about your idea for the plant stand.
So I've always loved plants. You know, naturally, I've always had plants in my house and everything. And when I moved back, I had to sell all my houseplants because they weren't going to survive, you know, the 36-hour drive across the country in the middle of winter. And I wanted to go plant shopping, and there was really nowhere dedicated just to houseplants. And back in Montana where I was living, it was kind of part of my Saturday morning routine. I would always wake up Saturday morning, go to the plant shop, and it just, the way that it makes you feel when you're in there surrounded by plants, I miss that. You know, I miss that community aspect of it that I felt when I was in Montana. So I just kind of decided to see what would happen here. And I did the pop-up method because that's low cost, low risk to start. And it just kind of took off. And, you know, it's been a crazy journey since.
So talk about the pop-up for people that don't know what that is.
A pop-up is essentially having a mobile business. You can go anywhere, bring it anywhere. It's, you know, we basically have a retail shop, but we don't have a retail location. We just go wherever will have us, essentially, which makes it really fun because we're able to go everywhere. You know, we've been, this summer especially, we're really gearing up to get all over the Central New York area as much as we can. But the pop-up method is just a lot of fun. We go into really cool businesses and coffee shops and breweries, and we have a lot, of fun with it.
And you're supporting other
right.
small business.
Yeah, the collaboration aspect
is
so much fun. You know, we benefit, they benefit, and it's just, you really get to see the area from a different lens. You know, it's fun. We've had a good time with it.
That's awesome.
Sure.
Let's stay there. I love that.
Yeah.
So first of all, you do have a physical location.
We
You're
do
on
have a physical
Genesee
location.
Street.
We're on Genesee Street in Utica, but we just host, it's for our workshops. We do workshops every month. So it's a small location. We're not open to the public on a daily basis, but we do host our workshops there. Yeah.
And cool workshops. I was on the website.
Yeah.
Like you do centerpieces, you do the, what's it called?
Macrame.
Macrame.
Yeah. We try to keep it interesting.
Yes.
We change it up every month.
That's so awesome.
Yeah. Always trying to do something new, for sure.
So when you go to a pop-up,
Right.
You're bringing about how many plants?
It ranges. In a perfect world, we like to bring anywhere from 200 to 250
Oh my gosh.
plants. Yeah, we can.
What do you drive?
A 4Runner. It's covered in dirt. But yeah, we bring anywhere from 200 to 250 plants, and we also bring pots and accessories like macrame, bunch of different stuff. We really try to basically have you feel like you're walking into a store wherever we go. That's kind of what we try to.
So you like take over the business.
We try
plants.
Not to.
Well, I mean, in a nice way.
Well, that's what they want. Yeah.
It tends to happen. Yeah.
And what's in it for the business owner?
We kind of have our own little following. You know, we bring a lot of business. We have people that come to every pop-up. So it's just kind of, we benefit each other mutually. We bring people, they bring people. And we try to do it always somewhere where people can hang out, you know, grab a cup of coffee, have a beer, chill for a few hours. So yeah, we kind of try to make an experience out of it versus just, you know, buying a plant.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love so much of this. You know, it's interesting because, you know, we're springtime now and all of these greenhouses are going to open up. And, you know, when I think flowers, I'm thinking seasonal, and we're coming off of a horrific winter where everything's dead.
Yeah.
Like it's such a brilliant idea to have plants, right? That are year round.
Right.
So you're in wellness. Talk to us a little bit about, and this might be a little bit deep, but you know, what do you see as the connection with wellness and surrounding yourself with plants?
Right. I mean, obviously there's the health benefits of plants and the way they make you feel. You know, that goes without saying, the joy that they bring just having them in your house. But I really think my experience in the wellness industry set me up to own a business and to do all of this, because I had to really pay attention to my clients' experience. You know, that was a really big thing. There are so many competitors in that industry, in the wellness industry, and I had to figure out how I could set myself apart. And I really did that through creating the most unique experience and elevating the experience for my customers as I possibly could. I saw everything through their eyes, and I really wanted to make sure that when they entered, you know, my business, they were transformed and taken somewhere else, you know, and that really taught me you always have to be willing to evolve as a business owner. You always have to be willing to reimagine things and reinvent yourself and not be afraid to pivot, because really, you know, you'll always stay relevant that way. And if you give people a good experience, that ultimately is the most important thing, no matter what you're doing. If you give people a good experience and you truly care about, you know, the experience that they're having, I really don't think you can fail. So being in the wellness industry for so long really taught me to prioritize that. Yeah.
So let's talk about, like you had mentioned before we started the interview, like officially, that you are cleaned out of plants right now.
Yeah. I mean, we have a couple sad rehab plants that, you know.
I love that.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for those.
Oh, yeah.
Like when I go into like Lowe's or something and they have this plant that's on a discount, I'm like, I can bring this back to life.
We have a few of those, but we are completely cleaned out at the moment.
So now where do you get your supply from?
I have a bunch of different wholesalers that I work with. I try to buy locally as much as possible. We have a really good supplier in the Syracuse area, and that's where we get, I would say, 75% of our plants.
Nice.
But we try to get them all in the Northeast region, and they're all planted, rooted, and come from the Northeast region. Granted, they're not obviously native to the Northeast region because they're houseplants. They're from jungles. But yeah, we try to get everything as locally as possible. And if we're not getting everything as locally as possible, we're trying to make sure that we're supporting a small business somewhere else in the country. That's been really fun for me too, is bringing in a lot of unique, not just plants, but products that come from other small businesses. It makes it more fun for me to sell those products.
Yep.
So yeah.
So the connection with small businesses is just huge.
Yeah.
We try to support small business.
Yeah, for sure.
Over
you know, and
big box stores a ton.
I love, this is going to maybe weird, but the like, does every plant have a story, right? So you talked, I'll preface this. So you talk about creating this unique, memorable experience, which is awesome. And you mentioned like, well, they come from the jungle, and you just kind of said it like matter of fact, but I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool, right?
Yeah.
And then you talked about the rehabbing of plants and like wanting to bring back like this one, like you feel bad for it. And it's like, I'm going to give it hope. I'm going to bring it back to life. So how much of it is storytelling when you're selling a plant?
I think that's my favorite part of this whole business is maybe not my storytelling, but other people's storytelling. I love hearing people come in and tell me, oh, I've had, a Christmas cactus in my family for 2 generations, and we connect that way. Or they come in and they tell me, I have this one spot in my house and I really want a plant, and they tell me about it. And then I can connect them with a plant that I think will do well. I mean, every plant comes from a specific area, whether it be a desert or a jungle, right? I mean, there are more complicated scenarios than that, but we'll simplify it. And basically what you're trying to do is just mock that environment wherever you bring it, So that's why some plants will have different care instructions than other plants. But I love connecting with people about, just about what they envision for their house or why they love plants. I mean, some of the stories I've heard have just been so much fun. It's my favorite part to talk to people and connect with people. I mean, I could talk plants for like 3 hours. It's
cool though, I mean, they're living.
Yeah, it's
right.
fun,
I mean, we talk about pets,
right?
And people. Well, why not plants?
Right.
We have.
Go ahead. Tell us.
We have a story.
We got a story.
All right. So we have this plant. We call it our love plant, and we got our first apartment in Rochester.
We got it when we first started dating. That's why.
Yep.
That's our love
when
plant.
we first started dating, before we
27 years ago.
27 years ago, we got this plant, and we got it in our first apartment in Rochester. It traveled with us to Virginia. It came back from Virginia with us. And now it's so funny. A couple different houses, and now it has babies because, like, I have cut off
quite literally a love plant.
Yes, it is our love plant, and I just love it. Like, it's just.
What kind of plant is it? Do you know?
Oh gosh, it's the one that with the
spider.
No, it's not a spider plant. It's the one with the bigger leaves that's like a viney.
Okay.
They're super easy to take care of.
Like a pothos or philodendron.
That's what it is, a philodendron.
Philodendron.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
So, and
it's
then
in our daughter's room now.
Well, it was in our daughter's room, and I had to take it out of there because it was struggling, and I could not let this plant die.
Yeah.
And so I put it in our Peloton room, or the green room. It's become our
greenhouse. Probably when you bought it, it was maybe 5-10 years old. So that's probably like a 30-40-year-old plant.
That's what I'm saying.
Cool,
it's
right?
amazing.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
I mean, how many things can you say
and we
that you have?
it and nothing.
Right.
Nothing. We have not had anything for that long.
Yeah.
So it does.
I love hearing those stories.
But it's like a lot of pressure.
I know.
Because if this thing dies,
it's never going to die.
Right. It is.
It's like an ET, right? So in ET, when he was sick, the plant was dying, and then like the plant came back. No, it's truly, So like, there's been moments where she's like, "I think the love plant's dying." I'm like, "Oh no!" Like, is that the end of us? Like, are we done? Like, when the plant's done?
Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
What does a day-to-day look like for you, your job?
Yeah, I'm on my computer 98% of the time. I'm always just trying to reach out with other businesses, try and schedule things, for the future. I'm covered in dirt also 98% of the time. I'm repotting plants. I'm doing research on different things that I want to do in the future. Basically, one of the most beautiful things about this is my day looks different every day, and I love that. I need that. I need I'm not a fan of the repetition of things, so my day looks different every day. But yeah, usually it is me covered in dirt on my computer. It's not very glamorous.
So how much personalization, like if I come to you and say I want this specific plant or type of plant, like how much of it is that versus you sourcing for different things that you could bring to pop-ups? Yeah,
I mean, we have people reach out all the time, like, I want this specific plant, and we usually 99% of the time can get it for people because for, whatever reason, if people want a specific plant, we've carried probably anywhere from like 75 to 100 different varieties of plants since we started. So yeah, I'm always trying to source something new. There are so many different plants, plants that I'm still learning about every day. So I'm always trying to find, a new plant, a new product, a new workshop, a new location for a pop-up, most of my day is Googling all that stuff.
What's the most expensive plant?
They get like hundreds and hundreds of dollars.
Yeah.
We don't really do rare plants like that. I try to really focus on easy to care for houseplants, nothing crazy. The most expensive plant we'll sell will be, $40 to $50. We really try to keep things very affordable as much as we possibly can. And rare plants, people feel a lot of added pressure. If you're buying a plant for $150, that's a lot of pressure. It's also pressure for me to keep it alive in the meantime. And I like, the low barrier of entry that we have with people that have never had a plant that want to start having them. We have a lot of really beginner-friendly plants. Mostly all of our plants are really easy to take care of.
And they show you, like, when they need water, a lot of them.
Yeah,
like,
they do.
One of the biggest mistakes I think people make is overwatering
It is
their
the
plants.
number one reason people kill their plants is
because they
overwater them.
Yeah. I'm telling you, a plant has a way of telling you when it needs water. And
right.
Yeah.
Right. And they typically thrive on neglect, which most people don't realize. Just leave it alone, and it'll tell you when it needs water and water it. But yeah, they're easier than most
it's too funny. When we were reading your job form, the questionnaire that you filled out for us, Scott chuckled and he said they do plant sitting.
We do.
That's so important when you think about it for people that travel, especially like a lot of people in the area.
Yeah, they snowbird.
Yeah.
And they have these plants, and so that's a service
and
that
they usually
provide.
just give them away because they don't know what to do with them in the meantime.
See, I take care of Scott's mom's plants.
Yeah, we do.
It's a thing. But it was kind of funny. Like
it is
plant
funny.
sitting.
It's hilarious. Yeah, absolutely.
So what does that look like? Like you're going to people's homes?
It depends. It can look like, if you're gone for a season, we can come once a week. If you're gone just for a week, we can come just once that week. We look at the plants, we water them, we prune them, so get any dead leaves off. We'll clean them, fertilize them, make sure that they're okay. We'll repot them if needed. It's kind of just like a full service. If no one's there to watch your plants, we can do it. Yeah.
And a lot of people don't realize that plants need to be repotted.
Right, yeah.
And I have another plant that was given to me for Mother's Day like 7 years ago. And I think my mom bought it for me at like Chester's.
Yeah.
And I have to go have it like repotted and the moss put on the top of it.
Yep.
And it's so important that you take care of a plant like that as well.
Yeah.
Because as it gets bigger, it outgrows the pot and it needs space to grow.
Yeah, you should probably be repotting most of your plants at least once a year.
See?
Yeah. Yeah,
that's crazy.
And that's why we do that as well. We have our repotting services, our houseplant rehab services. So you don't have to worry about it. You can just bring it in, drop it off, and we'll take care of it, and then you can come pick it back up.
Let's talk about your event that you have on April 26th.
Yeah, so we're celebrating Earth Day. It's kind of, that is our wheelhouse, the Earth, So we're doing a big event for Earth Day. At our location in Utica, we're going to expand out into the parking lot and have more plants than we've ever brought to any event. And then we're also going to do a couple of fun extra things. We're going to have a plant swap going on. So if you have any plants at home that you no longer want or any propagations from any of your plants that you want to share with other people, you'll be able to bring them that day and swap with other people. And then we're also going to have a potting bar so you can actually pick out your plant and repot it yourself and learn how to do it. And then we're also doing a BYOP, which is bring your own pot. Mm-hmm. If you bring your own planter, you'll get 10% off any of our plants that you can use to put in the planter. But yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm really excited for sure.
So 2604 Genesee Street in Utica is the location, and this is April 26th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Yes.
I'm going.
It's after Easter, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or no?
Yeah, Easter's next week.
The Saturday after Easter.
And I'm so confused because this will air and none of it will make sense. So let's not talk about dates.
It is the Saturday after Easter. So you've got Easter Sunday and then it's the Saturday after that.
I'm going to tell you a quick funny story about plants. So my wife hates fake plants.
Oh, I hate them.
Like she gets mad. She gets mad about it.
Right.
Like you can't have a fake plant.
They're
but
imposters,
we did have a ficus tree. Mm-hmm. When we were younger in Virginia, and when we moved back to New York, I have one brother, right? So we're both dudes, right? Not really good with the plant game. So we were trying to sell our house, and we had a lot of plants there. We left the furniture and
we
everything.
Just took our clothes
we just took our clothes and our baby, and we left the state. We weren't being chased by the police. I know that sounds crazy. But,
we just wanted to come home.
So my brother PJ, I'm like, once a week, stop by the house and water the plants. And so he's doing this for weeks and weeks and weeks. And he's like, he goes, this one, your tree, he goes, there's just water all over the dining room. I go, what tree? He goes, I'm one of the dining room. We don't have anything in the dining room. He's like, yes, you do. Yeah, he was watering our focus tree.
That is hilarious.
So you do a much better job at plant sitting, I'm imagining.
Yeah. I mean, at least, he was being diligent about it.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's so funny. Yep, that's funny. I forgot about that. All right. I am going to read something that I just loved in what you sent us. And it said, while you're out chasing your dreams, don't forget to support the people doing the same in your community. Small businesses aren't just storefronts. They're someone's dream come true. Someone's late nights, heart, and hope poured into something real. Every purchase, share, or kind word truly makes a difference. Like, that is so awesome.
Yeah. I mean, that, to me, I love supporting small as much as I can. And this community has a really vibrant small business. The way that we support small businesses here, it's not like that everywhere. It's really not. And because the area it's like the perfect size. It's small but not too small, big but not too big. Yeah. We have the privilege of seeing these businesses and supporting them. And it just, I grew up in a small business family. My dad had a small business. The joy that you feel when somebody supports your business is unmatched to anything I've ever felt in my entire life. The plant stand and what it's become in 8 short months is like nothing I've ever experienced. And every purchase that you make with a small business makes somebody feel that way. And it makes somebody do a happy dance. I promise it does. And it really... It's so powerful when you think about it that we all, as individuals in a community, have the power to change people's lives like that. You have the power to support local and, to choose small businesses. And that, it really is incredible.
And why wouldn't you? Like, right. I just can't wrap my brain around why you wouldn't.
I think part of it's awareness. Convenience, right? Like the Lowe's, for example. Like, we admittedly, right? We've bought stuff from Lowe's,
absolutely, right?
But no, I mean, I almost feel guilty going on from that because that was beautifully said and so true. And I love that you're collaborating with other small businesses. I love your story that you were away and came back to chase that feeling and be a part of this community. We consistently hear themes throughout interviews with people, and it's one of them is we're big but not too big and small but not too small. And it's hard for a small business in a big metro community to stand out. But here you can, and you're doing it. 8 months and you're crushing it, which is awesome. Yeah. You also talked about people calling you crazy when you had this idea.
Yeah.
And when people tell me I'm crazy, that's when I know I'm onto something. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And so,
well, see, I wish I had that confidence.
Because otherwise you're just doing what everyone else has already done.
Yeah.
Definitely. And so talk to the audience about, pushing through that and sticking with your vision, even though everyone was telling you you're nuts.
Yeah. I mean, when I woke up one morning and told my family, I'm going to start a mobile plant shop. They're like, Rachel, not another one of your crazy ideas. I mean, I've always been, the person with the scribbles in the notebook, all the ideas constantly. So I think I give them whiplash sometimes with all my crazy ideas. But I don't know. I had a feeling that this would work. And, if you trust and you push, and there's really no limit to what you can achieve, truly. And to me, it's all about following your passions. That's the number one thing. Because I think that when you follow your passions, you can't fail because it brings you joy. And how can you fail if you're happy? So to me, I just stuck with that. I had a feeling it was something that could work. But more importantly, it made me really happy. And I wasn't going to compromise on that. So I just, I dealt with the eye rolls and at our very first pop-up, I have to tell the story of our very first pop-up because it was pouring rain. I mean, like, there were no, gaps in the rain. It was absolutely pouring rain. And my whole family came. They helped me set up. But but I could see that they were like shooting each other the side eye, like, people might not show up. Like, the weather's pretty bad. They were nervous and I was nervous, and it was about 10:30 and our pop-up started at 11. And I could see a line starting to form. Everybody was huddled under like an awning so they weren't getting wet, but a line was actually starting to form. So we started our pop-up a half hour early. And for 2 hours straight, line out the door, we sold every plant. And it was at that moment that my family was like, wow, you may be onto something
Crazy
here.
Crazy girl's onto something.
And, and I was like, see, guys, I told you. I mean, you just have to hold the faith, keep the faith, and if you're working from that part of you that's passionate, that creative space, and you won't fail, just keep going, just pivot, change, reimagine things, but just keep pushing.
I'm glad we kept the conversation going because that's more sage advice, right? So often young entrepreneurs do it for the wrong reasons.
Right.
They not the wrong, but money, right? They're like, oh, I want the money, I want the freedom, I want the lifestyle. And they forget the work part and they forget the do what you're passionate about part. And the funny thing about money is it will just show up, when you're doing what you love and the right things for the right people and bringing value and unique experiences. And then all of a sudden you're like, wow, this thing's actually making money, but you never actually did it for the money.
Right.
So a lot of people have it backwards.
Yeah, definitely.
Talking about just a plug for you to our audience, supporting local and all the great work you're doing. What an amazing gift, right? Like we as a society, sometimes we struggle with gifts or even last minute. We just did this with friends. We went to visit college friends in Rochester and we brought a plant, because
they're like, don't bring anything for brunch.
Right.
Like, we just want to hang out with you.
Food goes away. Gift cards are so thoughtless. And, all these things that flowers die. But a plant, like we talked about, could be like they could have this plant for 30 years.
Their kids could have
and they'll
it
think
one
of
day.
you.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if there's a better gift.
I know. It really is a great gift.
And Mother's Day is coming up, right? So
that's one thing. Like I always have fresh flowers in the house. Mm-hmm. And I like flowers, but a plant can live forever.
Right.
So if you are ever thinking about getting a gift for somebody, like Scott's right, what better gift than a plant? Yeah. So let's talk about other businesses that may want to host a pop-up with you. How do they get in touch with you? What does that look like?
Yeah, they can send us a message on social media. You can also find us on our website, our email, text, call me. I'm easy to get a hold of. But if you have a space in your business that you want us to come into, we are really trying to expand outside of we're really trying to get all of Central New York. We have a really fun summer lineup planned. I mean, we're going to be in Cazenovia. We're going up to Lake Placid. We're going to be, we're trying to get out this way in Ilion. We have Westmoreland, Utica, New Hartford. We've got a lot of fun things coming this summer. So we're always looking for different places to host us.
What about like house parties?
Yeah, we do. So all of our workshops that you see, we can offer any of those private. The workshops are a lot of fun. We do like Houseplant 101, so you can learn all about houseplants. But any of our workshops can be made private. We also do fundraisers. Our workshops can be made into fundraisers. So if you have an organization or a nonprofit that you work with that you want to do a fundraiser for, we've done that in the past. We're always doing something different. I'm always trying to evolve and stay creative.
Brilliant business idea.
Mm-hmm. Oh, thanks.
It truly is. So now my entrepreneurial mind is like, how do you scale it?
Yeah.
Or do you want to?
I'm having a lot of fun right now. I am an entrepreneur by nature. So yes, I have plans. I have things that I'm, gearing up for, hoping for. But we're just having a lot of fun. This is going to be our first full summer because last summer we didn't even start till, the beginning of July, end of June. We're having a lot of fun with it.
So my thought is you find someone like you, easy to say, hard to do, right? But is there plans to bring on, because how do you do more? There's only so much of your time, right?
I know, that's the part.
So do you hire someone?
I wish I could clone me.
To go out and do so you can do more events and parties.
That, we have talked about that. That's something we are looking to do is maybe bring on some staff that can help us do, 2 events in one weekend or 2 events in one day. it's definitely in the plans for the future if everything continues to go as well as it has.
Well, we bought a plant from you at the Irish, the holiday thing.
Yep.
Yes, and so
that was well attended.
It was very well attended, and you had a huge assortment of plants. And one thing that I loved is you told me like how to take care of it.
Yeah.
It wasn't just let me sell you this plant.
Right.
Like you talked to me about where it should be and how often to water it. And you said, do you have any questions? And of course I was like, yes, I have questions. What should I do?
Yeah, it's a bad question.
But and that's what you get when you buy a plant from you is you get all that knowledge and the personal connection and what you need to do to make the plant survive. And you don't get that when you walk into Lowe's or some other place.
And that's my favorite part. I love talking to people about it. I want to know where you're putting the plant. You know, I will never give you a plant that I don't think you can keep alive because who does that benefit in the long run? You know, I don't see that as helpful for you. So we just started color coding all of our plants when we do pop-ups, so you know how much light each plant needs. We give care cards for every purchase. So when you get home and you're like, oh my God, what did she just tell me? I have no idea. You can just stick it right next to the plant and it'll tell you, you know, how to water it and how to take care of it. But yeah, that is my favorite part is talking to people. So I always try to do that. I mean, I don't get to sometimes because we get really busy.
Yeah.
And we do free repotting at all of our pop-ups. So that usually keeps my head in the soil for most of it. But yeah, we always try to do that as much as we can.
And it's so awesome because when you buy a plant from some of these other stores, if you keep your receipt and it dies, they'll replace it. But that's so sad. I know. Like the plant died. You're not just going to replace it. Like it doesn't make sense to me where.
I know. It is kind of a funny concept. Yeah.
I think I found your clone. If you're hiring.
You're hired.
Yeah.
I don't want a new plant. I want this plant to live.
Yeah.
All kidding aside, like Kelly talks about wanting in retirement, which we're kind of in.
We're on our way. We're to plan.
She wants to pour wine.
Yeah.
Right? So we go out to the Finger Lakes a lot, and she's like, "What a great job! Like you explain the wines, and
just get to talk
get
about
to
wine
talk
all
to
day
people,
long.
and they're happy, and they're drinking wine." I see a collaboration there. Like, I mean, wine, plants, like people are in.
Definitely.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Let's open a business where we do wine tasting and plant
I'm
sales.
on board with this.
You don't have to, you don't have to ask me twice.
Love this. I don't want this to end, but we have to. Yeah, we end all these with some rapid fire questions. These are meant to be a little looser.
Yeah.
I haven't read them. I'll let you start.
Okay. Favorite houseplant to gift?
To gift, I would say a snake plant. They're so easy. I always tell people don't gift something that's hard to keep alive because then you're putting a lot of pressure on the person you're giving the gift to. Snake plants are so easy to keep alive. Definitely would be my choice.
I'm not going to say favorite because that's unfair, but what's one of your favorite events that you've done in the past?
The one this past weekend at Stride was so much fun. I mean, it was just, I really, really enjoyed that event. It was our first event this year, like really gearing up for spring and summer. People were really excited. It was busy. The energy was great. I mean, I think that's probably my favorite event so far for sure. Other than our first pop-up because you can't beat that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you cannot beat that ever.
So best local small business to give a shout out to that people might not know about.
I would have to say Grow Brewery right now is like my place to be.
Yeah.
They host us so much. I'm so grateful because they've allowed us to do so many events there. We even do some of our workshops there, and we've got a lot of fun stuff coming up this summer there. So I have to shout them out because if you haven't been, you have to go.
Great space.
It is a great
in
space,
New Hartford.
great people, great beer. Yeah.
And it makes sense, right? I mean, you got the hops and you got the I mean, a beer is
I mean, the name of the brewery is
I know.
Grow.
We tie in really well together. So it's definitely one of my favorite places to be right now.
Until our winery opens.
Until the plant winery opens, of course. Yep.
This is kind of a funny one, but you do events, right? So do you have a hype song or a playlist, or like how do you prepare? Or
it's kind of sad, actually.
Oh no!
I mean, maybe not sad, but all my friends are going to make fun of me for saying this. Everybody's going to make fun of me for saying this, but I am really into Creed right now. I'm going back into Creed. I don't know what it is, but Creed is my hype song. I listen to it on my way here. I listen to it before every pop-up, and I really don't understand why, but it's just...
Was Creed the band that who's the band that everyone hates but they've sold? Is that Creed?
Or Nickelback.
Nickelback, that's what I'm thinking of.
Same type of thing. Same,
yeah, okay.
No one wants to admit that they listen to Creed, but I know that people do because, it's Creed.
I like Creed. We saw Creed at Woodstock 99
we did.
in Rome, and they brought, I'm going to butcher this, but Robbie Krieger. I'm not going to butcher it. I remembered from The Doors.
Yeah.
So The Doors weren't at the original Woodstock, and Creed brought Robbie Krieger on stage to play at Woodstock 99, and look it up.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah, it's a great, what song do they do? Keep your eyes
How
on
do
the
you
road,
even
your hands
remember
upon
this?
the wheel.
I don't remember.
Is that Roadhouse Blues?
I don't know.
But they did a great cover of that song with Robbie Krieger at Woodstock. Listen to
Yeah,
it.
big Creed
You're
fan,
welcome.
so...
Oh my God. I don't remember anything from Woodstock. No. One word to describe
a few things.
One word to describe the plant stand's mission.
Connection, I think. Definitely. Yeah.
This has been awesome, Rachel.
Yeah.
Thank you so much
Appreciate
for having
you coming
me.
in. And once again, Earth Day is every day. I like that you put that, right? So April 26th, 10 to 4. Again, it's 2604 Genesee Street in Utica. Get there before my wife. She's going to buy everything.
Sell out really fast. So definitely come early to our events.
I officially live in a greenhouse now.
Yeah.
You love it.
It's the best place to be.
Yeah. And we're going to do wine. So stay tuned for the Plant Stand Winery.
Coming soon.
Yeah. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Love Living Local. As you know, we do not run ads. Our only mission is to shine a spotlight on amazing people doing amazing things here in our local community. If you'd like to support us with this mission, we have 3 ways you can help. You can share our content on social, subscribe or follow the show on your favorite podcast platform, and you can visit our lovelivinglocals315.com website to stay up to date with everything happening in Central New York.